Good evening, and thank you so very, very much for being here. My name is Marta Garcia, and I want to welcome you first again to the third annual National Hispanic Media Coalition's Impact Awards reception. I am the Vice Chair of the National Hispanic Media Coalition, and Angela will tell you about what we're celebrating. It's back in New York, right? Next to me, as I mentioned, is Angelo Falcon, who needs no introduction in New York City, right? Everybody has gathered around him, and it took a while just to get started because it seems he has a fan club here. Angelo is also...
All the people I owe money to.
Yeah, right. Did you collect anything back from what you owe? And believe me, you owe a lot. Anyway, we owe you a lot. We're so grateful, getting serious now, to be back here at the Google's facility. And this is our third year here. And Google has been very, very gracious to us, as you can see, the very good spread of things that they entertained you with. Gracias, Google. I want to let you know that I see a lot of faces around this room, and they're so familiar, and they're absolutely, if I started to mention the who's who here, we would be here all night. Enough is to say that those faces include our journalists. Thank you very much, journalists, for being here. Media executives, activists, members of our cultural communities, government officials, one of them just left, our Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez, community-based organizations, and so many more. Thank you again for being here, and we're truly blessed and pleased to have you here tonight. I'm glad to welcome you again. Angelo?
Well, you know, one of the things that's really nice is we're also kind of celebrating the 31st anniversary of the National Hispanic Media Coalition. And so we want to thank you all for joining us in celebrating that. And coño, ¿qué le pasa a esta porquería? And
there goes another thing you owe Google.
Yeah, well, and you know, one of the things that we really look forward to is this coming year, we have a commitment by the National Hispanic Media Coalition to have a stronger presence here in New York, the media capital of the world, so that we can start organizing and holding New York media more accountable. So with that said, let me turn this back to Marta. The other thing is just to show you how old I'm getting. There's some of the people that are actually here tonight told me, why are you guys holding this at Barney Google's, the nightclub? I said, no, it's Google, the tech company. So just to let you know, I'm getting old, and so are my friends.
Bueno, no te estás poniendo viejo, te estás poniendo mejor. You're actually getting better, Angelo, so don't worry about it. It's okay that, you know, no ves, there's not much to see, so no te preocupes. Actually, now, colegas, after that presentation at Cómico here, I want you to please welcome the President and CEO of the National Hispanic Media Coalition, someone that I call el cheche de la película. Why don't you Google that one? It actually means the leader of the pack, someone that I have admired for many, many years. And when he speaks, the executives of the media listen. Please welcome Alex Nogales, our President and CEO of the National Hispanic Media Coalition.
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. Apart from Marta and Angelo, we also have another board member, that's Fernando Soler from Long Island, who's here with us. Colombiano. And we have several business advisory board members as well. And one of them is Hugo Valta, who was here just a while ago, but I had to go upstairs. But he will be coming back. And my wife, Brenda Nogales, yes, my wife, who loves to tell me what to do. We have, as many of you know, sponsors. And if it weren't for them, we would be very hard-pressed to have this gathering. First, I want to thank Google, our reception sponsor, for their generosity in opening up the space and welcoming us into it as well, providing the hors d'oeuvres, the drinks, They're very nice people, and they work with the Latino community very well as well. Our platinum sponsor for the evening are HITN, Univision Infusion TV, who are dear friends and Latino advocates, as you all know. I especially want to thank Laura Marquez, who's in charge of Hispanic community engagement in Google. This event would not be possible without her, and Chanel Hardy, who could not be here with us today. Laura Marquez, please come up and join us at the podium.
Thank you so much. On behalf of our public policy team in DC and Chanel Hardy, who, as you said, Alex, is unable to join us this evening, welcome to Google New York City. I hope that you all have enjoyed the first part of the evening and I look forward to this next part. My name is Laura Marquez. I'm the head of Latino community engagement here at Google. And in my role, I'm charged with looking across the company at how we can deepen and strengthen our relationship with the Latino community. I'm also privileged to work very closely with our Latino Google community as well. We've had a number of volunteers from our Google Familia here this evening, and I hope you've had a chance to speak with them, and I thank them for their work to make tonight happen. If I may, I'd also like to just say, I know she's already left for this evening, but would like to thank Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez for her continued leadership on the Hill. She's done so much on behalf of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, the small business community, and most recently been an incredibly strong voice on the issues related to Puerto Rico and the recent hurricane. So I just want to thank her for that leadership there. Yes, thank you. And if I may, we can't forget Puerto Rico. There is so much to be done there on the island, and Google is committed to being there. I'm very proud to announce that our Project Loon, which was set up on the island just a few weeks ago, as of 1 p.m. today, has now reached 100,000 Puerto Ricans and helped restore basic connectivity to the island for those individuals. So it's work like that, work through partnerships with organizations like NHMC that we're so proud to be a part of. And NHMC itself is a preeminent advocacy organization focused on the implications of tech, telecom, and media policies for the Latino community and other underserved communities. Your work promoting net neutrality and Lifeline is absolutely necessary to ensuring that everyone, regardless of income, regardless of language, has the opportunity to leverage the benefits of the internet ecosystem. As always, we want to thank President Alex Nogales for his leadership, for his vision in founding the organization. Thank you so much, sir. And we were also privileged to have him speak at our very first civil rights conference, which took place out in Mountain View just a few weeks ago. So we thank him for being there for that. He's a passionate advocate for tech and media policy. I'd also like to recognize the board. Thank you for your leadership, to the DC policy team, and to the wonderful individuals, Brenda and Felicia, who helped make this evening possible. And finally, I want to just take a quick moment to recognize tonight's awardees, in particular, Kat Lazo, an exceptional online creator who has more than 10,000 subscribers to her channel, and who uses her platform to cover everything from beauty to feminism, to images of the Latino community. I'm so proud of individuals like that. So with that, I just want to wish you a wonderful evening and thank you for being here. Thank you.
I should tell you, talking about Puerto Rico for a moment, Angelo Falcon is a very trusted friend and board member. And he did something immediately after the devastation in Puerto Rico. He says, you know, the networks are not covering day to day what is happening over there, and we need for them to give us continued coverage. So he says, you know, why don't you write a letter to all the network presidents of news here in the city, telling them that you would like for this to happen. And he says, write him a letter. And I said, great, you write it and I'll send it. He wrote it, we sent it, and we got responses from ABC, got a response from MSNBC and NBC. saying that they were going to be doing precisely that. So Angelo, thank you. You earned your money, man. I have one more duty to perform, and that is to introduce our very talented MC for the evening, Jeanine Ramirez, a great reporter from Spectrum News NY1, who incidentally was one of our first honorees of this event. Jeanine came to NY1 News in October of 1996. She is a Brooklyn reporter primarily responsible for covering the borough's more than 2.5 million people, as well as its schools, politics, religions, and everything else, it seems, because I'm running out of paper here. She is also the lead reporter on many Latino issues. You will remember that in 2002, Jeanine had the honor of marching as one of the Grand Marshals in the National Puerto Rican Day Parade up Fifth Avenue. She's received numerous recognitions for her work, including awards from the New York Press Club, City and State, El Diablo, La Prensa, among many others. Please welcome our Master of Ceremonies, Jeanine Ramirez.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here at the National Hispanic Media Coalition Impact Awards reception and ceremony. I was here as an honoree. I was here as an attendee, and tonight an MC. So it's a great honor. Thank you for inviting me back once again. We have a big program for you here this evening, so we'd like to get started. I'd like to bring back Angelo Falcon, one of my favorite Brooklynites. We went to the same high school, by the way, and a little bit of different decades. But we were reminiscing about high school days and walking the hallways and all that fun. He is going to introduce his dear friends and my dear friend and colleague, Gerson Borrero.
Jeanine, it's really nice following you. You're terrific. And as a fellow Brooklynite, I'm very proud of you and stuff. And it's really nice, you know, and also being a charter communication survivor, I really appreciate it. I asked, I was asked to introduce Gerson Borrero. The reason I'm doing it is because the other people that we tried to introduce him refused to do so. When we asked Jeanine, could you as MC introduce Gerson, she goes, I really don't really like the guy, and plus I don't think he's a real journalist. So she said, but maybe you could do it. I go, I don't know. Then his daughter, my goddaughter, Taina Borrero's here, and we asked her also, and she said, I really don't get along with him that much. He hasn't been around when I was in my formative years, and she said I also don't like him that much either. We tried with like 5 other people, so I got stuck with it. So let me say that to start off, there's a quote I want to read. I was going to print this out, but my printer conked out on me, so I'll try to do it from my iPhone. Yo que soy ciego, I don't know, I may misread it. Back 16 years ago, Salon magazine did a profile of Gerson, and I just want to read the first couple of paragraphs. This is, again, 16 years ago. Salon wrote, Gerson Borrero has been sued, boycotted, shot at, and punched. A few months ago, again, this is 16 years ago, he got fired from the best paying job he ever had. That's at WADO. He is foul-mouthed, likes to insult people publicly, and not surprisingly, has a lot of enemies. Among the people he's insulted in the past, and practically every politician in New York. So very impressive so far. And among those politicians included at that time President Bush and Jennifer Lopez. He once got dozens of angry calls when, on the radio, he questioned the sexual orientation of Jesus Christ. It says, quote, the quote they attributed to him at the time was, "All I'm saying is in life, he had to be doing something for pleasure." I skipped a word there. He doesn't like to say where he lives because people threaten to kill him all the time. One union leader described him as, quote, evil, except that that is not strong enough a word. And then they conclude by saying, life, in other words, couldn't be better. Gerson, since then, has toned down a bit. And I think to the point where I think he's become probably one of major Latino political journalists in the city today. Not only does he cover the Latino community in his own very unique way, and he's been an important voice for Latinos, but he's also become an important figure covering New York politics in general. He was the editor-in-chief for many years of El Diario La Prensa. As I mentioned, he had a very popular program called Bajo Fuego on WADO for a number of years. And from there, he went on. We worked with me back in the early 1980s when we started the Institute for Puerto Rican Policy. From there, he went on to work at what's now Spectrum News NY1 as a political commentator. He has a weekly program called The Political Rundown that he does opposite Curtis Sliwa, where they deal with political topics every week in a very interesting way. It's a very popular program. He also is a political commentator for NY1 Noticias, where he does a weekly comment, a very popular commentary there as well in Spanish. From NY1, he's also worked and is working with HITN, Hispanic what's it called, Information and Telecommunications Network, where he covers national issues of importance to the Latino community, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and various national issues, as well as their political editor. What the hell is that? See that Jesus comment? I knew he would come. And he's done a lot of work as a political editor and a host at HITN. And this is all, he's doing this all at the same time. And thirdly, he's been editor at large at City and State Magazine, which is a multi-platform news site where he's a commentator and a columnist for their magazine. He's on the editorial board, and he also hosts a very popular podcast with Nick Powell, looking at interviewing important political figures in the city. And as well, he has a column there called Bochinche and Buzz, where he looks at political gossip, political issues on a weekly basis. All those things together kind of made him an obvious choice to give this award to. And the fact that, he's part of a unique New York journalistic tradition, going back to the Pete Hamills, Wayne Barrett's, all these kind of Jimmy Breslin's, and I think his longevity in the field and the impact he's been having increasingly, I think has really, really earned him this award. So with me, it's my pleasure on behalf of the National Hispanic Media Coalition to present Gerson with the Impact Award for Outstanding Media Journalism.
Thank you. You're not going to stand here, are you?
No, I just want to make sure you got the award, because
right.
You can't trust these.
Okay, you sure you're going to make it over there? Buenas noches a todos. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Un poquito más ánimo, digan buenas noches, que estamos, celebren la vida, coño. All I got to say after none of what Angelo said, I wish I could say I could deny. I could say it's not true. There's other stories that I thought he would tell. I'm glad he didn't say them, because otherwise he would say, oh, y este tipo. I first want to say that the biggest thing, is there were two things. You live to be 66. I'll be 67 November 20th. Y estoy como un coco y no es rancio. So there were people that thought I was going to be dead a long time ago. And I'm not talking, mira Fernando Aquino. There are stories that you tell. My wife says she already gave up. I'm not going to retire. I've told people at HITN, I told Mike Nieves, I'm going until 70. We'll take a look at myself on camera, because, you know, people they love cameras. I happen to know que ya yo estoy viejo. But they tell me that I have the energy of a young person. I work with young people at city and state. I mean, I'm talking, my boss is 37 years old. The irony is that these people who are hip, who I'm learning from them, I never did a podcast in mi puta vida. And I'm doing a podcast now that supposedly is very popular. And I say that with all due respect because I have always believed in young people. We get old and we forget that we were young. And I think that's the problem with people in the industry. The industry that we love, and I have some colleagues here, I won't single them out. They're from ABC, I respect them a lot. No, I don't want to get them in trouble. There's an executive here. Pero carajo, there's young people that we got to bring up. You got to teach them how to do investigative reporting. I'm talking in general, in the newsrooms. And young people tell me, what path did you take? ¿Qué carajo sé yo? I didn't ask for anything. The reason I'm still working is because when people thought that after being fired, on principle from El Diario, in 2013, that I was dead. City and state, unos gringos blanquitos call me. No los latinos. Los latinos era para que me jodiera. That's the truth. Because we like to screw our own. Esa es la verdad. Y yo soy tan feo como tan franco. And the first ones to actually, drag you down sometimes your own. In spite of them, I love my people. Yo amo a los latinos. Los amo y los amaré siempre. Aunque me traten de joder. I say this because two things matter in my life. One is the children that God gave me. One of them is here, Taina, and the other is San Felipe. There's nothing more important than any of us. If you have children, you're blessed. If you've adopted them, if you raise, porque ser padre no es solamente preñar y parir. Es aceptar responsabilidad para una generación que tú tienes que ocupar. I happen to think that I have many children, young journalists, committed, that know that the responsibility of a journalist, I appreciate this, Alex, Angelo, the entire board. That's not my freaking job. My job is to pursue the no-gooder, the person who is screwing our people, the person that takes the government money, the elected officials that are corrupt, the excellent work that journalists are doing against this piece of shit that we have in the White House right now. That's our job. Not to be enamored or to be liked by corporate types or to be able to write the right story that doesn't get us fired because we're afraid of the shadow of the new owners or the old owners that want to hold on to their pensions or whatever it is that they think is worth living for. I think Angelo understands this. Some of you in this room may be offended with what I'm saying. Coming here took me a little while again because I was listening to David Bagnall from another station. We know he's done an excellent job. All journalists have done excellent jobs in Puerto Rico. And I tell you, the reason I took a little while is because we just found out that FEMA is offering to take Puerto Ricans who want to leave the island, and out of the goodness of their fucking heart, they're going to take us out of Puerto Rico. They've never done that in any state. Never. You know why? because it's not enough to have invaded Puerto Rico in 1898 by North American troops and make us a colony. It is now that they want to take us from our land. Que se vayan al carajo. I'm gonna take advantage of the mic because there's no other way to say it. You're not here to listen to some, you know, I may get fired from all the platforms I have right now. Pero yo nunca voy a dejar de ser puertorriqueño. Nunca voy a dejar de ser revolucionario. Y al carajo todo lo demás que venga. So I don't say this, I'm doing it for shock. I do respect everyone in this audience. But sometimes we get too comfortable. At 67, I feel more energized by the young people. The people that are standing. You talk about stand your ground. Los compatriotas de nosotros en Puerto Rico, you see what they're doing? Las mujeres, los hombres, los jóvenes standing their ground because they're not going to move for a North American imperialist country like this one who wants to screw us again. I love this country. My children were born here. My parents were born here. My father. I was born on the island of Puerto Rico. There's a coquí that will live in me hasta que me entierren o me quemen o lo que me hagan. I say this because it is important for us to remember that recognitions are important, but it's the job that remains undone. I am nowhere near finished. I have not planned, I have not asked for a job in over 40 years. They've come to me, they offered me, I'm doing something right, and the best thing that I do is make uncomfortable those perfumados y blanquitos who think they're hot shit and they're nothing más que un peo frío. Gracias.
That's my colleague. I'm not. Coño, carajo. No, I'm kidding. Our next Impact Award recipient is Kat Lazo. We heard a little bit about her earlier from the Google exec Laura. Kat is a New York-born director, producer, writer, and public speaker of Colombian and Peruvian heritage. She has managed to transition her work and attention as a YouTuber to a thriving career as a video producer. Kat has concentrated her career on amplifying the work of voices that are marginalized, people who are marginalized, typically with a strong concentration on race and on gender. With more than 5 years of experience under her belt as a video producer, her work has been featured by BuzzFeed, Upworthy, Daily News, Huffington Post, just to name a few. Her work is most known for making difficult topics like racism and misogyny accessible through humor, which is a very difficult, it's a great skill to be able to do that with humor. And as a video producer for the Latino digital platform Mitú, she's developed the series The Cat Call, a series that breaks down taboos and within the Latino community. And it's in first season, it's garnered more than 4 million views, and it's now on its second season. So make sure you catch that. You can learn more about Kat Lazo and her work by visiting her website, catlazo.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Kat Lazo and present this Impact Award for Excellence in Online Storytelling.
How am I supposed to follow that up? Seriously? I was like, please, don't let me be second. Don't let me be second. But I do think that I want to kind of follow up on what was said, which is we are too comfortable sometimes. And I think that for me, my responsibility is one to continue challenging us and making us uncomfortable, right? Uncomfortable maybe with hidden truth, maybe hidden education that was purposely hidden in order to not keep us in power. And so I want to, thank everyone, because I think for a lot of the time, folks who disrupt, folks who challenge, and who make folks uncomfortable, they're not very liked. And on top of that, as a Latina, I think it's something else that makes people uncomfortable, right? For me to stand my ground and call shit out as I do, as I'm known for. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone. I wanted to say thank you to my Mitú family who welcomed me, me as a hire, as someone who is completely self-taught, someone who did not go to film school, someone who has never taken a film class in her life, and completely was just taught through, tutorials and just like that hustler mentality. So, they took a chance on me, and I'm very thankful. And thank you to everyone here in this room. I'm honored to be among all of these amazing people. Give them a round because they deserve it. It's a complete honor to be recognized for the work that I've done thus far, and I'm excited for the work that I will continue doing. So, thank you.
Our next honoree is someone I've interviewed dozens of times over the course of my career. She's a true trailblazer. She's my friend, and she happens to be my neighbor in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Elizabeth Yeampierre, an internationally recognized Puerto Rican attorney and environmental and climate justice leader of African and indigenous ancestry, born and raised in New York City. A national leader in climate justice, in the climate justice movement, Elizabeth co-chairs the Climate Justice Alliance and is the executive director of UPROSE, Brooklyn's oldest Latino community-based organization. Her award-winning vision for an intergenerational, multicultural, and community-led organization is the driving force behind UPROSE. She's a longtime advocate for community organizing around just, sustainable development, environmental justice, and community-led climate adaptation and community resiliency in Sunset Park. Prior to assuming the executive director position at UPROSE, Elizabeth was the legal director, the director of legal education and training at the Puerto Rican Legal Defense Fund, director of legal services for the American Indian Law Alliance, and the dean of Puerto Rican Student Affairs at Yale University. It's a great pleasure to introduce the next Impact Award for outstanding service and commitment to the Latino community, Elizabeth Yeampierre.
Buenas noches, mi gente. Un placer estar aquí. It is such an honor to be in the midst of such badassery. Unbelievable. The work that I do exists at the intersection of racial injustice and climate change. I'm a descendant of extraction, a descendant of colonization and slavery, so I'm a Puerto Rican. And so I'm honored to be here today, and particularly with this award from the media, because the media, when we were fighting for environmental justice and we were talking about the fact that our children can't breathe, something as fundamental as the ability to breathe, that all of the infrastructure was being put in communities of color, in particular in Latino communities. It was the Latino media who put a spotlight on our struggle, who elevated the local narrative, who helped us move legislation, because you played an organizing role in making it possible for us to move policy, for us to be able to change where resources went. You made it possible for us to be able to leverage power in our communities, and you are the only ones in the media who are able to do that and have done that consistently for the Latino community. And so I'm really honored to be recognized by you. Several years ago, 2006, before anybody was talking about climate justice in New York City, we decided that not only were we disparately impacted by the saturation of environmental burdens in our communities, but that we were going to be seriously affected by climate change because we were in industrial waterfront communities. And a few weeks ago, my world as a Puerto Rican woman and as a climate justice activist collided when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. I only have a few things to say because Gerson really said a lot of what I was feeling as a person who believes in Puerto Rico's sovereignty. But we have been working really hard as part of the Climate Justice Alliance to move the money to the grassroots, to make sure that people who are engaged in food sovereignty in Puerto Rico buy their land, that we repatriate, that we take de pueblo a pueblo, reclamamos nuestra tierra. Y tenemos que hacer eso. So, from people who work on infrastructure to scientists, I would just say that every recovery is not the same. We're fighting for a just recovery. Sustainability does not mean justice. Sustainability could be the regeneration of energy regeneration, but it could be top down. It could be people helicoptering in to supplant local leadership. It could be a force that can deepen our colonization. And so it's extremely important that you think about where your money goes and what the solutions are, and the solutions must be local. It is our responsibility as members of the diaspora and our allies to facilitate, not supplant local leadership in Puerto Rico. It is important that when you're hearing about Hispanic efforts, talking about Puerto Rico who are working with Promesa, that are working with the corporations that have extracted our land for over 100 years and have put us in the situation that we are right now, because Hurricane Maria, there will be more hurricanes. And Puerto Ricans will never be able to get up, because the fact is that we're living in the age of climate change. Hurricane Maria arrived after Harvey showed up in Texas, after the wildfires in California, after Irma had hit Florida. And so that's the age that we're living in. And so we have to integrate climate change into every decision, into all your reporting, and into understanding that the people least responsible for creating climate change are the ones that are going to be most impacted, which is the global south, which is colonies like Puerto Rico. And so the solutions, making sure that Puerto Rico has an economy that is local, livable, and Puerto Rican led and owned, has to be our priority. So I want to thank you de corazón. And I'd like you to join me. Today, we know that we were able to engage Greenpeace to take a ship down to Miami. It's going to be docking there this weekend and then heading to Puerto Rico. But it can't take the supplies that we gathered, that the people in Puerto Rico asked us for, because the Jones Act prevents us from. The Jones Act is saying to us, the United States will not help you, and we won't let you help Puerto Rico either. That's what they're saying to us, that the shipping industry is more important than the lives of the people in Puerto Rico. And so you're important because over 1,000 people have already died, and no one is reporting on that. If that happens anywhere in the United States, that would be a horror show. 5 people, 1 person dies in a state because of violation of human rights. We are going to be working for a people's tribunal at the United Nations to charge the United States with human rights abuses in the case of Puerto Rico. And so my mom says that I came out of the womb with the fist first. And I hope you join me in raising that fist for the island of Puerto Rico, because what we do there becomes a model of how people from the global south come back from disaster, and it's a lesson that can be learned throughout all of the islands that are going to be severely impacted by climate change. So muchas gracias de corazón. Thank you.
Our final award recipient tonight is Dave Davis, the president and general manager of WABC-TV here in New York. I have seen some of your talented reporters here. There's Marcus Solis, David Navarro, Joe Torres. He's been the general manager since 2010, but this is actually his second term at WABC after serving as executive vice president of ABC News, responsible for all ABC News shows and special events. As WABC-TV president and general manager, Dave has overall management responsibility for WABC Channel 7 and all of its operations, including the powerful, market-leading Eyewitness News franchise, Live with Kelly and Ryan, the long-running syndicated series produced by the station and distributed nationally by Disney and ABC Domestic Television, and various digital properties, including Watch ABC, 7 Online, mobile content, and local carriage of the Live Well network. WABC-TV also provides viewers with a diverse array of community-based programming, including the National Puerto Rican Day Parade, the New York City Pride March, and the TCS New York City Marathon, which we just saw this past week, and I watched all three of your programs, and I was very happy to watch all three. His constructive role during the 2012 Work It sitcom controversy, working with Boricuas for a positive image, was an important factor in his selection as an awardee tonight. And most recently, despite the controversy over the National Puerto Rican Day Parade this year with Oscar Lopez Rivera, WABC chose to cover the event regardless of negative press. And despite many of the sponsors dropping out. Thank you. Thank you. His stand with our community illustrates his deep commitment to diversity and inclusion. And here to present the award for outstanding service and commitment to the Latino community is WHMC board member Magda Garcia.
Well, it's truly an honor to be able to pay respect and homage and all of the above to someone that I feel is truly a friend of our community. Dave goes back many years, and the times of Walter Liz followed in suit in ensuring that the program that we have right now, Tiempo, in addition to everything that Jeanine said about Dave and WABC, Dave, along with Rebecca Wise, who is now the president of the owned and operated stations of ABC, have been a real friend in ensuring the support, the continued support and programming of the only Latino theme public affairs program in New York City, Tiempo. Its host is here with us, and a prior host as well is here with us. And in addition to that, Dave ensured that the program had an ongoing producer because there was a lot of shift going on, and of course that also affects what you see every Sunday at 11. The program used to be, as some of you might recall, at 5:30 in the morning. And now it is on at 11:30, I'm sorry. And it is one of the programs where you hear many of the voices of our community. To continue that effort, also, I have to acknowledge your network, ABC. ABC has been sending reporters, sorry, I get emotional because of everything that I heard about my country. Has been sending reporters repeatedly there. My novio, David Muir, my husband is out there, I hope you didn't hear that, has also been to Puerto Rico along with Joe Torres, and other reporters in covering the devastation of our island. So I'm truly honored, Dave, to give you this award with all our heart. Thank you very, very much.
You start tearing up, I'm going to start tearing up here. To be given this award as a symbol of acceptance into your community means the world to me. And Marta and Angelo, I've had the benefit of their wisdom through the years. They've schooled me, you know, and I've been smart enough to listen. Not all the time, probably, but we've had some good discussions, and through the years, they've helped me tremendously to understand some of the problems associated with the community that I had to learn. And Alex, I've read your words for many years. You've stood the test of time. My respect. Thank you very much. I had the honor of speaking with Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez earlier, which usually I have to do in Washington, D.C., so it was great to see her here. I also know I accept this. It's not for me. I accept this on behalf of WABC, because it is the television station that speaks to everybody every day. And it is the television station and the people that report and investigate and give the news and cover the issues. Those are the important people. And so I'm honored that some of them are here tonight. Joe Torres, which Marta mentioned. Joe Torres, I've worked with twice in Philadelphia and in New York. And Joe, I consider not only a colleague, but a good friend. Joe was on the island of Puerto Rico when Maria hit, and I was a little worried about his safety and everybody else's safety. But he stood there and did some excellent reporting. And also, not only anchors our weekend newscasts, but as Marta mentioned, the host of Tiempo. David Navarro is the anchor of our noon and 4 p.m. newscast. David grew up at Channel 7. I'm not going to say how long ago, but he grew up there. And I had the honor, one of my first hires, my very first hire when I returned to the station in 2010, was hiring David back. So thank you for being here. And Marcus Solis, who is one of our excellent reporters covering Westchester County, the northern counties. Marcus, thank you for being here. Marta mentioned, and our host mentioned the parade. I'm very proud, and the station is very proud, to be the broadcast sponsor of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And this year, things got a little heated, let's say.
You could say that.
You could say a little heated. I learned a lot about the history of Puerto Rico and the politics of Puerto Rico and the different parts and the passion that people have for that parade. And that made it even more important to me. And as the days went by, and as corporations decided not to participate, as some politicians decided not to participate, and I would talk to Lorraine, my partner on the parade, Lorraine Cortez Velasquez. And Lorraine said, "You're still with us? Are you still with us?" And I said, "Lorraine, I'm still with you." And as it got fewer and fewer and closer, and she said, "Are you still with us?" I said, "Lorraine, let me ask you a question." I said, "What does the community want?" And she says, "The community wants a parade." I said, "Then we're going to have a parade." Yeah. Okay? And that's what we did. And thanks to Joe and David, who host that parade. And it was still a great day in the city of New York, 4 hours of a parade, and we're proud to do it, and we look forward to doing it again next year. And we look forward to continue to serve your community, because we know WABC would not be the #1 most watched television station in New York and the country if it were not for the support we get from the Hispanic community. So thank you very much.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all our honorees. Thanks for joining us tonight for the 3rd Annual New York Impact Award reception with the National Hispanic Media Coalition. I hope that you give the coalition your support in the future. I know as Latino journalists, they give us its support. So thank you so much for being here with us and considering that as we go forward. So have a great evening, and thank you very much for being here.